go through. With this whole thing I was talking about the bull strike, is basically that against really experienced people, so it won't happen often, you can start doing an auto attack like this. Here I'm canceling, by the way. You start doing an auto attack, and then because of that, the person is gonna say, oh, okay, it's an auto attack, he's not using bull strike, I can move. But actually what you do is that. So you cancel the auto attack and you use a bull strike, and like the person is normally moving if it's an experienced player. But actually the adjacent dummy here isn't an experienced player. So I'm sorry. So this is a little mechanic, extremely advanced. Let's go for the next one. So here is a topic about micro and macro. So basically, I mean, it depends on the person, but like from my point of view, it's important to separate micro and macro, at least to some point. So micro is everything that is related to pure mechanical stuff, and macro is everything that's related to like a more wider point of view. So for example, like movements in map, target selection is between micro and macro, I would say. And so this, and in terms of game modes, Random Arena is a lot about micro, and GVG is a lot about macro, actually. And actually, like, yeah, in GVG you need both, definitely. And so, from micro to micro, I believe with my accent, it sounds the same. So I'm sorry, you will understand with the context. Yeah, that's it. Casters have low armor, so you need to know that. So it means that when you are gonna hit them, you are gonna do huge DPS. Also, remember that when you are gonna attack a warrior, since you will have a lot of armor against physical damage, it's important to use like else an elemental damage hammer, else a thundering hammer. Okay, depends, up to you. Devastating Hammer brings weakness. That's extremely cool for line backing, especially in Random Arena, because in Random Arena, weakness isn't removed instantly. In GVG, it's often the case. Not so often, but often the case, okay? So it's really cool for line backing. Line backing, it means avoiding an offensive character to deal damage, so you can just go for the opposite assassin and line back him all the way, so at least it will lower the pressure on your team. And especially since he will have weakness, he will deal minus 66% damage. And so, yeah, that's it. Minus 66% damage, and so he won't be able to answer your line back properly. That's why weakness is huge in this case. Also, I've had discussion with Sync. He told me that Mage Hunter was better in GVG than Devastating Armor, because Mage Hunter is only one more adrenaline, and you don't really care about weakness, but Mage Hunter is unblockable if someone has an enchantment, so it's extremely good against Shield Guardians. I only played Devastating Armor in GVG, so I don't really know about Mage Hunter, but I can believe that it's better actually. So in GVG, I would take exactly the same bar than this, except that I would remove Devastating Armor for Mage Hunter eventually, okay? So that's it. So let's back to this. Yeah, also, if you KD an healer, you deal damage, because he will be KD, and you avoid healing, KD on damage plus avoid damage from the opposite team, by the way. So yeah, also, I believe a topic that's not mentioned too often is abusing people that are too close to each other. There is a common thing that it's I don't know, like I feel like some people feel like as long as you don't have any AoE, it's fine to be bold. Trust me, it's not fine to be bold even if you don't have AoE. Why? It's just because, well, if the people are really close to each other, like those two guys here, or those extremely bad players here, they are really close to each other. What I can do is go for this guy, okay? And then the prot monk is gonna use something to prot him, so maybe Guardian or something. But I don't care, because I can go for this one. And I don't lose any DPS, just because the time I've spent traveling here is extremely short. Also, there is the fact that dude, okay, whatever. Also, there is the fact that well, what was I saying already? Uh, yeah, there is the fact that it's really hard for the Proto-Monk to actually choose which target I'm gonna go on. For example, I can bait him, I can use Devastating Armor on this guy, and then immediately go for this guy, and then burst him like this, okay? And maybe the Prot is gonna launch a Prot on this guy, because he saw that I was using the armor on this one, okay? So basically, abusing bad positioning is probably the... okay, thanks, dude, for defending me. So yeah, I believe abusing bad positioning is one of the most important things to just higher your DPS. Okay, so I've written this here. So we have attack for monks. I already said this. Overall good target selection. It is a mix, depending on all the things I've said before. Abusing bad positioning, low armor target, priority target. So depending on the situation you are in, one target is gonna be like will have more value than another one. For example, in GVG, you don't res if you have like minus 60% death penalty. So it means dying 4 times, roughly. And so if someone has minus 45% 45% DP, then it's definitely a priority target in the sense that if you kill him, he won't res anymore, except with hard res and stuff. But whatever, it's a priority target. Same for someone running a flag. Running a flag is huge. If you manage to kill this person, then you are extremely good. Okay. People overextended, collapse on them if no monks can save them. So that's just like basic tips, but I believe it's important to tell them. Those are only examples. So it's really hard to actually make something extremely general that is gonna work each time, but at least you can give some basis to make you understand how to create a thought process when it comes to Warrior, basically. Okay. Now what I can show you, so we are in the macro thingy. Okay,